All right, if I can get this thing sorted out. Welcome. All right, there we go. I think I got it sorted out. Another, let's see, just trying to get my camera and all that stuff set up. All right, I think there we go. Another Square and Compass live stream. Thank you guys if you're going to join. I did one of these yesterday and had such a good time. I figured I'd do another one today. Same thing. We're going to talk about Freemasonry. I was going to see if I can maybe invite some people. This is a last minute thing I decided, but I figured why not give it a shot. Give it some time, see if anybody shows up. I have some Scottish Rite stuff I have to do tonight, so I'm going to be there for, got to get to the temple to get ready soon, but gives us a bit of time. All right. Give it a bit more time, see who joins us, get this light better. Give it half an hour. Usually I find it takes a little bit of time for people to find it, especially because I didn't advertise this one in advance. So yeah, see if anybody jumps on. give people a bit more time to jump on, see if anybody wants to. Looks like we have one person joining us. I'm not sure, that might be Courtney. He's been joining a few of our live streams. If you are, whoever you are, jump in the chat, say hello. Like I said, we're just here. This was a last minute thing, but I had so much fun live streaming yesterday. I figured I'd live stream again today, and we're going to chat about Freemasonry. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. As I said, we're here. I just started this live stream. I had so much fun yesterday. Figured to do another one today. Hopefully we can chat about Freemasonry, as we always do. Today, I was thinking potentially we would talk about what is the purpose of Freemasonry, or what do you think the purpose of Freemasonry is? That's something we kind of touched on yesterday a little bit, as we were discussing the movie Join or Die and the book Bowling Alone, and how social or civil or civic, depending how you want to define it, organizations like Freemasonry can provide benefits for democratic institutions, for democracy, for community engagement, which then led to the question and the idea of, well, is that the purpose of Freemasonry, or should that be the purpose of Freemasonry, to strengthen those institutions and strengthen the community? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. I'm curious what you guys think. So I just put down here in the chat, what is the purpose of Freemasonry? By all means, jump in. Let me know what you think the purpose of the what you think the purpose of Freemasonry is. Positive, negative, anything like that. Do you think the purpose of Freemasonry has changed over the years? Do you think it stayed the same? Do you think there is a singular purpose to Freemasonry, or is it kind of more complicated, right, in terms of like what that purpose is? I kind of leave it up to you guys to decide. And I think that's kind of a valid point as well. I think a lot of people may feel as though, how do I put this? A lot of people, I think, will probably kind of feel like there's not a purpose to Freemasonry, right? That Freemasonry actually has a lot of different purposes to it, and it's very hard to define a singular purpose. I know that kind of maybe the standard you hear a lot, right, is to make good men better. That was a pretty common refrain as to the purpose of Freemasonry, which I think that's one option. I'm not sure necessarily if I would view it as being the best exploration of the purpose of Freemasonry, right? I could give you my personal view on what the purpose of Freemasonry is, but I think I'd rather hear it from other people and kind of what you think the purpose of Freemasonry is. So jump in the chat. We got a couple people watching right now, it looks like. I'll wait to see if we get a few more. But please jump in the chat, say hello, and see what we want to talk about. Just sharing this link on social media, which, by the way, if you guys could do that as well, that would be very helpful. The more shares we get, the better the better our podcast does, the better everything that we're up to does. So yeah, I hope that you guys will check it out for sure. We were talking yesterday about the movie Join or Die, which I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list. Because apparently it has a lot to do with kind of what we were talking about in terms of, again, what is the purpose of Freemasonry? Should Freemasonry concern itself with larger societal issues? Should it be thinking about, issues that face the larger community, or is kind of, I can understand why some people might say that that's not the purpose of it, right? That the purpose of Freemasonry is, at the end of the day, to just focus on its own lodge, finding its own success, things of that nature. And I'm not sure. I think my personal opinion has always been that one of the purposes of Freemasonry has to be to support the communities in which it's located. I think that that's kind of critical. And if you're not doing that, I think there's a real danger that you're going to end up in a situation where your lodge is not going to be successful. So that's my opinion. We'll give it a bit more time, see if some more people want to jump in and comment in the chat. Let me know what you think the purpose of Freemasonry is, or anything else you guys want to chat about is fine with me. I'll probably do this for a couple hours or so. So yeah, we got plenty of time. Let's see what people want to talk about. Interestingly enough, also, I'll just mention, as if you've watched the channel, or if more, especially if you follow either either myself personally on social media, Cameron Adamson, or that's just my pop, or if you follow Square and Compass, we post a lot about our travels and our visits to Glenview, Illinois, and Chicago, Illinois, to places where we have a lot of Masonic brothers that we enjoy meeting, as well as just a lot of great memories. And so I did create a YouTube channel where I'm going to start posting more stuff about those trips in particular. I think almost every Mason somewhere has a ton of, or should, if you're active, you'll have those special Masonic places that mean a lot to you, that when you go there, it kind of feels like home. Certainly Glenview feels like home to me. In Chicago, and it feels like kind of a second Masonic home away, like a Masonic home away from home. And Glenview and Chicago are that for me, and so I thought it'd be kind of fun to take all of the different stuff I've talked about with Glenview over the years and put it in one singular location, or one singular YouTube channel. So I've started to kind of post some links there. It'll primarily be in the community section, I think, more than anything else. But yeah. I know we've got a few more minutes, so we'll just wait and see. Let me know what you guys, again, want to chat about. As I said, we're here talking about the purpose of Freemasonry, but we can talk about anything you guys kind of want to talk about as well. So jump in the chat, say hello. Let me know how you kind of came across and find our live streams. Do you find them on YouTube? Do you find us or follow us through social media? Kind of what is the way that you follow Square and Compass promotions? Welcome to the Square and Compass live stream. Did a great one yesterday, so figured do another one today. I might do another one tomorrow as well. I might just keep it going. But today, I think primarily I put it in the chat. We're chatting about what is the purpose of Freemasonry, or what do you think the purpose of Freemasonry is, or are you not sure anymore? If you're a Mason, if you're not a Mason, based on what you've seen in popular culture or what you've heard, do you have any ideas as to what you think the purpose of Freemasonry might be? Throw it down in the chat and let me know. Or we can obviously talk about anything else we want to talk about. I talked about, I just created kind of a new YouTube channel, which I've just started working on, to kind of document some of my trips to Glenview, which is, in my opinion, it's kind of my Masonic home away from home. I think most Masons, if you're active, you have those places that you would consider to be kind of your home away from home Masonically, a place you love to visit, where you have a lot of brothers, a lot of memories. For me, that's Glenview in Chicago. There's some other places that are kind of in that vein a little bit too, like Essex Masonic Temple, I love. There's a ton of places like that that I really, really love. But Essex, Woodstock was for a little bit. Woodstock, Ontario. I visited a lot of lodges last year in the Woodstock Masonic Center. So there's a lot of really great spots to check out. And I think, as a Mason, hopefully one thing that you're doing is you are taking the time to document your travels and document your trips to these places. So yeah, and that's one thing I'm trying to do with the new YouTube channel, which I'm posting most stuff on the community link right now. But again, we're chatting here about what is the purpose of Freemasonry, or what do you think it is? I can tell you what I think it is, but I'm much more curious as to what the audience thinks. Please jump in the chat, say hello. If you're Mason, let me know where you're from. If you can, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share. All that stuff helps out big time with the algorithm. And we will wait and see who joins. Usually I find it takes about half an hour for a lot of people to start coming on. Excuse me. But yeah, please say hello. I'm going to see if I can maybe share this with a few more people. I don't know if you saw some of the stats we talked about yesterday. I also had a very fun interview yesterday with Celebrate Every Step, Alana Gorley. I met her at Johnstown Masonic Event Center at their Supernatural Expo, which was a blast. I'm actually posted a couple things about that. I'm going to post a few more. But what was really fun about that, I remember, was meeting all the different vendors, including Elena Gorley, and we talked about her experiences at the Masonic Temple, as well as what she's been seeing in her practice. She's a therapist, which is an increase in loneliness amongst people. And again, that goes to the idea of the purpose of Freemasonry. Is the purpose of Freemasonry to help people, or is that kind of a side effect? Is the purpose of Masonry to be kind of therapy or therapeutic for some people who are struggling? I think that's a super interesting idea of what is the purpose of Freemasonry. And I've not really heard a lot of people, again, so much of it has come from this standard idea of like, I'm trying to think of the word, to make good men better. But I personally have always kind of struggled with that. I'm not sure if that's the best idea or the best summation of what the purpose of Freemasonry is. Right. I would argue the purpose of Freemasonry is to be relevant to the communities in which it's located and to the membership, in that order. But I hope that you guys will let me know what you guys think. We still got plenty of time, so I'll stick around for another maybe hour or so. But let's check out these stats I was talking about before. I turned on the gain on this thing a little bit. Oops. I'm going to see, hold on just one sec, see if I can. Let me know how that sounds. I think the gain is up a bit. Let me know how it sounds, if you guys can hear me well, or if there's any suggestions you have. I'm still working on the audio visual side of things. So let me know how it sounds for you guys. But in the meantime, like I said, I want to share some of these stats I've seen. I'm just trying to go through the Join or Die website right now. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So if you'll notice, right, we have a 40% decline from the 1970s, 1990s in the number of Americans who attend even one public meeting or town or school. 60% decline from the 1970s, 1990s in the amount of picnics Americans attend annually. Masonic picnics, by the way, are very common, or they used to be. Hopefully they become really common once again. 50% decline from the 1970s, 1990s in the number of Americans who took any leadership role in any local organization. Leadership role could include being a worshipful master in a lodge, for example. I'm not sure if this is sharing. Well, I'm going to go back over here for 1 second. I'm going to try sharing this screen one more time, see if it works. All right, I am going to, this is my Instagram page here. All right, this is the Instagram page. I'm going to go back over and check out. So these are some of those stats I was talking about, right? We have a 50% decline from the 1970s, 1990s in the number of Americans who took any leadership role within a local organization. That would include, for example, being the worshipful master of a lodge. 35% decline in religious congregation membership. 50% decline from the 70s and 90s in the number of times Americans attended a club meeting in the previous year. Again, that could include a Masonic meeting. 66% decline in union membership. 40% decline from the 1970s, 1990s in the number of Americans who attended even one public meeting or town or school affairs in the previous year. 60% decline from the 70s, 90s in the amount of picnics Americans attended annually. And actually, in our interview yesterday with Alana Gorley, we talked about her family is, she has kids who are involved in flag football, and trying to get parents to be coaches for the flag football is almost impossible. So those are just some of the stats and some of the reasons that I think Freemasonry is so important. Let me know in the chat if everything's good on the audio side, the video side. I'm still working on trying to get all the audio and video stuff down. It's not my area of expertise by any means, but I'm working on it. So hopefully you can let me know ways in which I can improve. And if you are taking the time to maybe share this, that would be much appreciated. Sharing not just this content, but Square and Compass content in general. How you're finding us? Are you finding us on your browse stream? Are you finding us through social media? All that stuff really helps as well. Are you finding us through our direct messages to you? Do you follow us on MailChimp and on our email sites, right? All that stuff is important. So do you follow us on Medium as well on our channels? Once again, here's a way to put it. Do you think, I'm gonna write out, do you think Freemasonry has a singular purpose? We're gonna start that poll, see what we get in response. In the meantime, once again, let me know what you guys, not just does it have a singular purpose, but do you think that, do you think there is a purpose? What is that purpose? Do you think it's individual to the person? Do you think there can be kind of a communal or universal purpose to Freemasonry? How much of it do you think is based on other people? Remember, that is like, do you think the purpose will change based on the needs, say, of a community or of an individual or membership? Or do you think that purpose is consistent from, say, 1717 to 2024, right? And then you can argue that it goes back further than 1717 or whatever it might be. I just want to make sure that everything is working on this end. Thank you, anybody who has been jumping in. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff is going to be really, really helpful. Take time to answer the poll, and like I said, we'll keep chatting. Hey, Courtney, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for jumping on. Much appreciated. We had a great time doing this yesterday, so I figured I'd do it one more time again today, and maybe even tomorrow. I might try to see if I do these every day at 11:30, how it goes. I mean, I still have a lot of other work to do with me since I got a meeting tonight. I got to get ready for it, but it's still a lot of fun to jump on these live streams and meet with the people and talk with them. And like I said, today we're talking about the purpose of Freemasonry. So No worries. You got to do your chores. There's no worries at all. Let me know in the chat though if you think there's a purpose to Freemasonry, and if there is, what do you think it is? And again, you don't have to be a Mason to answer. It can just be based on what you've learned, based on your experiences with these podcasts, or with oh geez, we got to, or with, you're talking to your sponsor, Jeremy, or whatever it is. Like, what do you think the purpose might be? Also, like the fact that you started the chat with howdy. Good Texan introduction there. I'll see if I can do it. I'm not sure I can do it every day, but I'm thinking of trying it. That's for sure. So, um, if I can do it every day, I'm going to try. I mean, obviously, there might be other things going on, so that might limit the time that we can do things, but I'm going to try my best, right? Consistency is also, I was told, very important in YouTube. So trying to do something every day at the same time. We'll see if it can help out. By the way, it is going to be my dad's birthday in a couple days, so I'm going to give him a call on the 24th. But happy birthday to my dad. I sent him a couple of things for his birthday, but one thing I sent him was I sent him a kettle because he likes tea, and also his kettle was pretty crummy. He's a good Englishman. Make the world a better place. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that might be a good example or a good idea, right? And I mean, hopefully, I guess it's really interesting because I feel like you could probably argue that that's almost the purpose for anything in a way, right? Like, is to make the world a better place. Right? Why do anything if not for that purpose? I think this pretty valuable idea, right? Because I think everything done well can make the world a better place. Even, a great song, a great book, a great movie. If you build a house, if you build a wall, if you are a plumber and you fix a sink, if whatever you're doing, if you're doing it well, then you probably are at a stage where you can if you do it well, you're making the world a better place, right? Is my opinion. And so I think Freemasonry is no different. If you do it well, you're going to make the world a better place. And I think Freemasonry is the same idea. If you're doing Freemasonry well, then there's a million different ways to make the world a better place. But I think Freemasonry is kind of one of them, right? And if you are a Freemason, you've chosen that as your way to make the world a better place, then you have a responsibility to do so. And it does make the world it does make the world a better place, in my opinion, in so many different ways. We talked about this yesterday with another podcast guest who's going to be on next week. The ameliorating or mitigating effects Freemasonry has when it comes to things like people who might be feeling lonely, making them feel less alone, or um, the health benefits that you see with social connections. And we actually had this chat yesterday with one of our guests. Again, I got to put up the podcast episode where she talked about, like, yeah, the more connections you have, the more healthier you're going to be in terms of your mental health, just across the board. Mental health is improved by having social connections. So I think that that's a really, it's incredibly important to keep that in mind, I think. And I think Freemasonry can make the world a better place in that way. There's all sorts of evidence that if you've suffered some type of medical issue, a stroke, a heart attack, the more friends you have, the more connections you have, the quicker your um, what's the word? The quicker your recovery time is going to be in terms of, and also not only is your recovery time going to be quicker, but your recovery time is going to be, you're going to have less long lasting effects, less symptoms. It's going to be a lot shorter. So, I mean, I think that that is just one of the ways in which Freemasonry can make the world a better place. Whether or not you want to view that as being the purpose of Freemasonry, I kind of leave up to you. But I think that the way it can help people feel better, help people recover, the way that the mental health can improve, all through maintaining social connections and maintaining lodge connections, I think is pretty vital and pretty important. And so, yeah, in my humble opinion, I think it does make the world a better place in those ways. And it also makes the world a better place by creating beautiful buildings and maintaining them and maintaining historical designations. And but it's still an absolute ton of work as well. I think that that's a really valid point to bring up. Also, yes, it makes the world a better place, but in doing so, you have to work at it, and which is probably true for anything, right? If you're not the ability that it has to make the world a better place or to fulfill its purpose, a lot of that is going to depend on how hard individuals are willing to work to make those things a success. So, no worries, Courtney. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much, as always. Um, Anybody else joining us for the first time or just joining us now in the stream? We were chatting about the purpose of Freemasonry. Jump in the chat, say hello. Let me know how you guys are doing, what you want to talk about. I don't know. We did one of these yesterday and it was a lot of fun, so I may try to do one again. I did one today, and I may do one again tomorrow, maybe every day at 11:30 kind of thing. I'm thinking we'll see how it goes. Answer the poll up there if you can. Do you think Freemasonry has a singular purpose, or do you think it has multiple purposes, depending on, again, is it individual by individual type of thing? And if it is individual by individual basis, do you think that that can help or hinder the craft? Because if you have a lodge of 30 people and each person has their own view as to the purpose of Freemasonry, how does that affect the ability for the lodge to grow um, or to function properly? We can also talk about plenty of other things that I love outside of Freemasonry, um, such as, scary movies, which is obviously another one of my loves, scary movies, horror movies, professional wrestling. We just had an amazing 2 days of shows here in Windsor, which was a blast as well, um, with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So very well done um, on that one. To Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, to Scott Demore, an amazing couple of days. Absolutely. I mean, I've said this before when I talk about wrestling. I think, I always knew that professional wrestlers, to be a professional wrestler was a very, very hard job. And, always had the utmost respect for the work that they did. And I always kind of knew that being a referee was hard work, though I didn't realize how hard of a job it is, but that it is hard work. I don't think I had any idea the amount of work that goes into actually producing and creating these shows, from the ring crews to the camera people to the like setting up the ring, tearing down the ring, the audio, visual, the audio, the visual, the lights, um, the amount of wires that you see people, having to spool and unspool and set up, the people working at the different positions, at the go position or gorilla position, and the people at the monitors and the people calling the, like, I think in my mind, in some sense that this isn't the case, but I think before I started training at Can-Am, before I started professional wrestling school, my idea was like, WWE goes to a town, and Triple H or something, snaps his fingers and a ring just appears and everybody just shows up, and all the cameras just get set up or whatever it is. No, it's an incredible amount of work setting up rings, tearing down, all everything that comes with it. Just so much work. So I think that would be one of the major things I've learned through the training is the actual production side of it and how much work production is, um, and set up and tear down. So always make sure to keep in mind the ring crew and all of the people who work hard to set up the production, set up the canvas, basically the canvas of the show. One of my favorite quotes from my professional wrestling days, or from training at the Can-Am school, professional wrestling school, was, um, I forget who said it. One of the coaches said, the ring is the star, which I always loved that as a saying, right? Nobody's more important than the ring, which I took to me. No one is more important than the promotion itself and making the promotion a success. Um, and that's the most important thing, and that's the true star, which I like, and I think that's true for Masonry as well, right? The lodge is the star. The lodge room is the star. It's not about the individuals. It's about the lodge room itself. We'll give this maybe another 10 minutes or so. I think I might end this one early today, and then tomorrow we can do another one. Maybe I'll just keep going at 11:30. And once again, we're going to chat about what tomorrow. I'll think of another topic. Today, the topic was what is the purpose of Freemasonry. I'll see if I could think of one for tomorrow as well. We'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody jumps on. But otherwise, like, I think we're going to finish this chat at 12:30. So a few more minutes for anybody to jump on if you want to chat about the purpose of Freemasonry. Otherwise, we'll wait and do another one tomorrow. Maybe. I think so. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes. But if you do get the chance, want to jump on and say hello, hope you will. Once again, chatting with the purpose of Freemasonry. All right. Well, I don't know if anyone else is going to jump on for this one, but it was a great short chat. Thank you, Courtney, for jumping on the chat. I'll try to jump back on tomorrow. Like I said, see if maybe we can do these every day at 11:30 or maybe just on the weekends. But I will talk to you guys later. All right. Thank you.